Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. Now we're on a little bit of a different set here, but it's because we have a special guest. Congressman Andy Barr is joining us. And Congressman, thank you very much for taking the time.
Great to be with you, Matt.
Congratulations on the win on Tuesday, a very highly contested race. Why do you think in the end you were able to pull it out?
Well, you know, it was a very competitive election, one of the top competitive elections in the country. A lot of money was spent in this campaign. I was outspent $8 million to $5 million in the race. So that was one of the reasons that it was so competitive. But I think at the end of the day, the fact that we were able to communicate the results that we had achieved for the district and the constituent service that we've built up over the years, the results we've been able to deliver to the people, that ultimately I think made a difference.
I watched your speech on election night. I thought it was a very gracious, nice speech. You spoke a lot about Amy McGrath and her service. And there was part of me that wondered, where was that tone during the election? Why do you think it got so contentious? I've always found you to be a very nice, polite guy. It seemed like the election was very sort of a lot of barbs. Why do you think that is?
Well, first of all, that always bothered me that there was this narrative that I was running a negative campaign. First of all, we ran over $1 million of TV ads, of positive campaign ads. For example, Molly, a widow and mother of four who benefited from the tax cuts, talking about that. William, a Vietnam veteran who we had helped through our Veterans Coalition. Or Mike Cassidy, who was injured in a hurricane down in the Caribbean that we were able to extract and get emergency medical care. Or Captain Dana Lyons, who tragically lost her husband, killed in action in Afghanistan, that we helped. Or the Creeman's family, whose son Ryan was diagnosed with a tumor, and we had really worked hard on the STAR Act, which is a Childhood Cancer Research Act. So those were stories that we were telling about our positive work and our achievements.
But there were a lot of negative too. I mean, there was a lot of negative campaigning, most of it aimed at her. You called her, I think, at one point way too liberal for Kentucky. I mean, there was a lot of negative.
Yeah, and so to address that point, I think it's perfectly legitimate and important in closely contested campaigns to actually identify the differences on the issues with the candidates. We were certainly featuring my opponent in her own words in TV ads because we think that our constituents deserve to know where she stands.
Do you regret any of the tone? I mean, there were some things you said, like you said she was for open borders. She said that was a lie. I mean, do you regret any of that? Do you look back and say, I wish we hadn't said any of those things?
What I wish we had was more one-on-one debates that I participated in and that she didn't show up for, so we could actually get into the differences. I absolutely maintain that she was for open borders because she opposed, in her own words, sensible border security measures. So that's not negative. That's just pointing out the differences on the issues between me and my opponent.
I might dispute what open borders means. Open borders means you just walk across the border. I don't think that's exactly what she was for, but let's talk about debates. I tried to get you on a debate for a long time, and you said no. Why would you not debate on this show?
Well, so let me just first say that what I was seeking and what I think the people deserved was one-on-one debates between me and my opponent with a nonpartisan moderator. So we accepted Renee Shaw because she's a nonpartisan moderator. Bill Bryant, we accepted. He's a nonpartisan moderator. And nothing against you, Matt. I mean, I'm a big fan of yours and KSR.
So you don't think I could have been fair?
No, what I'm saying is that I don't begrudge you for being involved in partisan politics. I am. But just as I would not be a nonpartisan moderator in a debate, neither would you. All I'm saying is we showed up at all of these county forums, all of these debates where they were hosted not by a partisan moderator, but they were hosted by a Chamber of Commerce. They were hosted by the Frankfurt Plant Board, for example.
But Renee Shaw and Bill Bryant are registered in a party. They both are members of a party. They both, I'm sure, have political beliefs. The question is, do you think Lee Cruz and I, it wasn't just going to be me, it was going to be Lee, do you think Lee Cruz and I could have done a fair debate with you and Amy?
Well, you know what? I mean, look, you're being very fair to me. These are legitimate questions. I mean, maybe we should talk about that in the future going forward.
But we tried.
But I would say this, that we showed up at all of these community forums. We showed up at all these debates. And for my opponent, who said that she opened up all these offices in all these counties, when it really counted to be there and show up and be accountable to the people, she didn't show up.
Okay, I'll drop it after this. I tried. We contacted you all many times. You and I passed each other in an airport one time, and you said you would call me, and it didn't happen. So that did disappoint me, because I like you, and I think you are a genuine person. I wish in the future you would have at least responded, because I do think we could have given a forum. But I don't want to dwell on that. Do you think the president played a big role in you winning with his visit to Richmond?
I do, and I've heard your commentary on it, and I agree with you. One of the reasons why we invited the president to come here was obviously we knew we needed to energize his supporters in my congressional district, in this congressional district. We knew that he had a lot of support. He won this district by 15 points. It was important to invite him to Madison County, where he has a lot of support. And we did see an uptick in enthusiasm, motivation among our supporters. And I think that helped drive turnout, which turned out to be an important factor in a race where you did have this urban-rural split. So I think it did play a role. But I want to make kind of a larger point about the president. I invited this president to my congressional district well before Amy McGrath even decided she was going to run for this seat, or at least before I even knew that she was, before we had a competitive election. In March of 2017, I invited the president to come to learn more about our district, our signature industries, the bourbon industry, the auto manufacturing industry, the horse industry, and to learn about the challenges that we have, including the opioid epidemic. And
but he came 4 weeks before the election.
He did. That's when he came.
I mean, to be fair,
that's when
he came to help you win, and it was successful.
That's right, and I'm glad he ultimately did accept the invitation and come. By the way, I invited President Obama to come to my district. You know, President Obama and I, no surprise here, we didn't agree on a whole lot. We did work together when we could, but I knew that President Obama and I had a shared passion, and that was basketball. And the first time that I met President Obama, he asked about Nerlens Noel. It was right after Nerlens' injury. And it was great that he was trying to find a common connection with me, and I invited him to join me at Rupp Arena. He never accepted that invitation.
I wish he had done that. He should have done that. Thanks to Congressman Barr for joining us. We will have more of the interview tomorrow night, including his plans for the new session.